It's Sandy Parker. Welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Well, this is our fourth in the series of scrap and punch cards, and it's a big scrap paper one. I used a ton of leftovers from the mini dog album that we made, the puppy album, and I used some fun washi tape on the envelope. So this is the card we're going to be making. Well, pretty similar to it anyway. And the things we're using is, this is a ticket punch. If you don't have a ticket punch, you could use a rectangular punch. You could probably even use a square punch, but that's the punch we're using. It's from Stampin' Up. We're going to be using some Onyx black. That would be Versafine ink that's been recanted into a Distress Ink custom blend box. And we're going to be using more mustard from Stampin' Up ink. Well, we're going to be using our MISTI. I did put some of the papers down already, and I thought I would do that part of the card last, and I thought we'd do the inside of the card first. What I found was there's this really cute, I'm going to have to find the name of it. It's from the Stamps of Life, but I can't remember the name of it. Stephanie Bernard is who makes them, but I think it's called That's the Ticket, or it's About Tickets, and it has this cool row of tickets as well as a fill-in to change the color of them. So that's what we're going to be playing with. And I have the three tickets already down on my MISTI. I thought it would save us some time. I'm trying to make sure that these cards are as short as I can make them. This thing has a hard time inking up, and I've used it a couple times, so I'm not sure why it still does, but it still does. For those of you who don't have a MISTI is a tool that makes stamping easier, and I think it's called the Most Incredible Stamping Tool. I don't know what the last letter is, but it's made by My Sweet Petunia. And usually, if you buy one, buying it from My Sweet Petunia is usually the least expensive spot to buy them from. And if you do buy it, I recommend you buying extra magnets, because sometimes the paper will stick and you don't want it to move if you can avoid it. I'm just going to lay that. I do have a hard time with this sometimes. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I use my foot on it, and I know I shouldn't, but it's the best way for me to get a really good impression on it. I'm going to take that one off. And then we're going to put down the little stamp. This is a little, it fills in the color on the actual ticket. And this thing is really super, super sticky. And every time I use it, I have a hard time getting it to lay down because it moves, because it's so sticky. It moves with my fingers. And this is where we're going to use the more mustard ink. If I can get it to go. Oh, see how it moves? Oh, that bugs me when that happens. And now I got a little ink on it. And I'm going to have to move that because it moved the card. Because this ticket is long, you can't put the card in the corner like you normally would. So you have to kind of adjust your MISTI to whatever you're stamping. If your stamp is longer like that, jeez. And this is with 5 magnets. It does that. It makes me nuts when it does. I do love the MISTI, but it's not the perfect tool. It's the most incredible tool ever, but it's still not perfect. I'm going to have to lay that down a little bit harder on there. Okay. That time I think it went a little nuts, but that's alright. Well, we're going to end up with a little weird color on that one. It's alright. You know my motto. It's handmade. It'll be a little bit different than other people's. And it won't always be the same. So you always have, every card's going to be a little bit unique. A little bit more ink on that. Creative Time. It's called, or My Creative Time. It's called Many Greetings, and it says Celebrate You. I colored in these on the MISTI because it took me forever to get the rubber not to stick to the paper and move the paper. And I've never had a stamp set that was as sticky as this one. Every hair you can imagine attaches to it. It makes me absolutely nuts. But just a note, I've never had a stamp set called from them before, the Stamps of Life. And if all of hers are that sticky, I don't know. Man, that's crazy. I just could not get it to work where I didn't have sticky all over everything. I'm going to put a little more ink on that. Anyway, so I colored them in with, I think it's more mustard ink, and they look cute when they're done, but I do have a few hairs in the mix, which didn't make me really happy. But what are you going to do? These things happen when you got really sticky stuff. I'm going to pull this out and just let my crazy magnets attach to themselves, and then I'll clean that up later. It's from one of those cards that you get in those sets, and I had to cut it down, and then when I cut it down, it kind of got a little yucky on the edge. So, okay. So this is our card, and I had a bunch of people ask me if I would show them how to use a Xyron, and I'm not sure if this is a Xyron that they wanted to know about, but this is the one I have. It's the little one, and it makes things into stickers. So you're going to just put where there's a little arrow, see the little arrow right there, you're going to slide your piece into that spot, and then you pull from the bottom until it comes out, and then there's a tear bar, and you just tear it off. Then you rub it on all the pieces that you have so that they're all really well adhered to the backing. Oh, and I make sure that you put the side that you want up is what should be facing up when you put it through the machine. So then what we're going to do is you just tear the tape, the front tape off. And that's very sticky, so you want to get rid of it immediately or else it'll attach to you forever. And then each one of these becomes its own little sticker. So it makes it really easy for a project like this when you have a bunch of things that you want to adhere. Not quite straight. Let's hope it'll come back up. And it doesn't make it as horribly sticky as some things do, so it does make it so you can reposition things, which I like. So the next stage is making sure the front of our card is the front. I sometimes have that problem. I'm sure you know that. I made a card this afternoon and the ribbon and everything was upside down. Because sometimes I just get confused or forget or don't look. You know, I don't know what I'm doing. Just messing around, I guess. There's a stamp show this weekend in Akron, Ohio, which is a couple hours from us, but I definitely am going to go because I love stamp shows. And anytime I can torture Rich into going to something like that, he's the greatest. He just goes. And the last time we went to a stamp show, it was near Cleveland, and the man that sold us our tickets at the front gave Rich his ticket for free because he said that any man that would go to that had to be a saint, which of course he is. I'm sure you can imagine that he is a saint. He is a saint, that's for sure. This is the one that goes on the other end, and I don't know if you've noticed how I'm doing this, but I like to do, whenever I'm doing a piece like this where it's where I have a middle piece, I like to do the two sides first so that it's really easy to center the middle piece. Just a tip for you. I think I'm running out of tape runner. It always does that when it gets near the end. It gets like, maybe not. It gets real, it's like hard to maneuver. Let's see if that's close enough. So there is our card. I did want to put a little tape runner along the bottom there, but I didn't have any that or a little ribbon or something along the bottom, but I didn't have any that I absolutely was crazy about. Okay, so I decided I would run a little strip of this washi tape below it, and I think I'm going to do it above it too. And then I can always write my sentiment below there. Get that off. Whoops. Thought the inside of the card just needed a little bit something else. Okay, I found my scissors. Now I got my punch out, my stamp that says I made this for you, but I can't find it. So we're just going to go with, I'll have to put it on later. And get this out of the way. And I'll put my two cards up there so you can see them side by side. Here's the envelope for it. That's the one we just made. And then this is the one that I made before. Oh, there's a little pearl on it. I don't know how it got there. So there are our two cards. I hope you enjoyed this, our fourth in this series. I hope you'll give it a thumbs up and subscribe and tell your friends about it on Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram. Love having new subscribers, and don't forget you have until the 23rd to put your comment on the video for the 500th subscriber. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.